Your second to last example in section 4.1 is about what they call converting angular to linear speed. Now you really don't need to know the difference between those two so much, but what I really do want you to know is how to convert something like revolutions per minute into miles per hour or other units. You want to be able to cancel certain units and get it into other units that you do actually want. So that's what we're going to focus on here and also in the next example that you'll see if you click on the next video. So here are just some things to keep in mind with conversions. Conversions are whenever we're changing the unit. We're not actually changing the value of the problem, we're just changing how it's expressed. So one thing I would say is make fractions so that you can cancel unwanted units and introduce wanted units. That's our goal with all this thing. The numbers are really going to be kind of an afterthought. It's just once you have it all set up, then you cancel out and then you work with the numbers and you get a final answer. But I would encourage you to set this up all as one big string whenever you're doing these types of problems. Next thing I would mention is decide what units the answer needs to be before starting the conversion. So have a goal in mind for this. So here's an example of what I mean by that. It says convert 100 feet per second into miles per hour. Our goal is going to be the miles per hour. We start with the 100 feet per second. We're going to express that as a fraction. So here's what I would suggest that you do, is that you write it as 100 feet divided by 1 second. Our goal, miles per hour, means miles divided by hours. So we want to get miles on the top, hours on the bottom. Now I always go with the idea of pick the easiest thing first and see if we can narrow it down as we go along. I think that makes it a little bit more manageable task. So I like to work with time because everybody knows the units for time. We know that seconds and minutes and hours all relate to each other. So let's do one piece at a time here. One thing I know is the number of seconds in a minute. I know that I can get 60 seconds into a minute. Now, when you're creating your fractions, it's important to know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to get rid of seconds, eventually get to hours, and so I want to cancel it out. That means I'm going to put seconds on the top so that they do cancel out. Now, I know that 60 seconds in 1 minute, I know that that is a proper conversion, and we can multiply by that because that equals 1, and we haven't changed the value of our problem at all. So that means when I get to this point, I know that seconds can be canceled out. All right. From there, I have feet over minutes. I don't want feet over minutes, I want miles over hours. So now I'm going to convert from minutes to hours. And we all know that there are 60 minutes in an hour, so I'm going to make a very similar fraction where it's going to be 60 minutes on the top because I want to cancel, and then over 1 hour. Now what that does again is it allows me to cancel minutes, but then it also puts me with hours in the denominator. And notice that in my goal, hours is in the denominator. So what I'm going to do when I reach that point is up to you, is optional, but I'm going to circle it because that way I know that I have what I need here. I'm not going to mess with that anymore. The thing that I'm going to mess with is the feet. I want to get rid of the feet still. So that's how we're going to make sure we can convert feet into miles. Now, I happen to know that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So I'm going to put that here, keeping in mind that feet need to go on the bottom in order to be able to cancel that. So that's 5,280 feet is the same thing as 1 mile. So again, my units that I'm looking for, the feet cancel, and then miles are left over. And good news is here, miles needs to be on top, and so miles is on the top here. Now I have miles divided by hours. When I have those two positions taken care of, I know that I'm ready to just crunch the numbers, let the calculator do the work, and pretty much going to finish up this problem really soon here. So I'm going to multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, and after all is said and done, what I get here is about 68.18 miles per hour. Now, one thing that comes up a lot with problems like these, what I've seen in the past a lot, is that people will try to do one fraction at a time, say like, oh, times this equals this, times this equals this. It's okay to do that if you're really careful about what you're doing, but I would highly recommend that you just put it all in one big long string instead, because then you know exactly what's canceling out. Feet and feet, minutes, minutes, seconds, seconds. That way you can have a little bit better idea what the entire process is, and I think that just keeps it a little bit better organized. So that's our first conversions example. We'll do one more in the next video.